just recently I got into a discussion about how to rig Zoom trick worms, and you can rig them Carolina, or you can rig them Texas rig, you can rig them Carolina rig, or you can rig them wacky. I like the wacky stuff. All you have to do for that is get your worm. Any floating trick worm, doesn't have to be Zoom, and you take yourself a hook. Getting a little closer here. This hook happens to be a weedless hook. What I do is through the bottom of the worm, this worm has a flat, right behind what I call the egg sac, I just run it through one time. So it hangs on like that. Of course I close the weed guard. Now, that right there will work, especially in shallower water, especially sight fishing, clearer water, but I tend to add a little bit different. I take a roofing nail. You could use a finishing nail, you could use any nail you have. I tend to like roofing nails because they have this big flat head. You take and you head of your worm where you'd normally put a hook in. Pitch it here, get it started, and just push that right on into the worm. That acts as a weight, so when the worm sinks like that. When it twitches like that. The other thing, the reason I use the roofing nails is because this flat surface tends to give it a wobble as it falls through the water, versus adding a piece of lead in here or just a straight finishing nail. It's not anything new. They actually used to sell lead weights designed to go right on up into worms like this. But this is how I rig it right here. And we'll show fishing with it in a minute. Don't know if I'll catch anything, but we'll see what happens. Okay, one of the reasons I rig this weedless is usually I'm using this sight fishing. And generally I'm pitching and flipping it versus a long cast. That was a bad flip. That's what editing's for, right? Right over there into the water. I tend to keep it on a fairly tight line, letting it sink. And usually you get a hit on the sink, then you twitch it, let it sink, sit for a minute, twitch it, let it sink. If I don't get anything, I will take and recast it. Now, if you notice, that went right on up in them weeds. Slowly, easily do it out and let it drop right at the edge of the weeds. Twitch. 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 Now you can twitch it all the way in. It's just not what I do. Now this also can be cast, and we'll show that in just a minute. You work it just the same way. You twitch it, let it sink, twitch it, let it sink. I'll bring it in, see if I can't get a better cast. Where I want it. Right in here. Let it sink. Don't worry about it. What? How'd I do what? Persistent, patient, a little bit of skill. Okay. Widen up the bank like that. Remember what I said about the worm coming off? Now just to show, he's hooked in the side of the mouth. That worm is gone. When you're using that Wacky Rig, you will generally lose worms, but definitely when you're using it with the and that happens to be the biggest bass I've caught out of this little pond. I did not know one quite that size lived in here. Camera back. If you would do me a favor, Melissa, can you make sure I'm in full screen with us? Okay. Biggest bass in the pond. Right there. And that was just showing y'all exactly what those kind of worms will do. All right. Let me get the record back.